Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to ZIRA Evolution Championship. You join me, Characteristics, ready for our final and technically first round of the championship. We're here for what is our last round of the championship, but it is our first round, if that makes any sense whatsoever. It was postponed, it's been pushed back to the very end of the season, and we've finally gotten round to it. So I think it's a nice it's almost a bit of a circular moment, isn't it? We finished right where we started with absolutely no intention of doing so at the start of the season, but we've done it anyway. Either way, I'm your host, as I mentioned, Characteristics, and I am thoroughly looking forward to watching the end of this championship. We do still have both championships in contention. It's just one's a lot closer than the other. We'll get to that in just a moment's time. But let's first take a look at the schedule for 2024. Obviously, this being the last race of season 2, it's very sad, but it is a time to start looking forward to, especially at the end of the race, to the next season. So, ZIRA Evolution Championship Season 3 will start on the 22nd of September at Fuji. We then got Barcelona, Brands Hatch, Spa, Nürburgring, and Laguna Seca. Actually, I think, personally, a really good calendar. A nice mix of tracks. It's going to be a good race every single time. Or at least, hopefully, anyway. But we also have another championship in which we're going to be doing 4 rounds of 6-hour races. So a bit more endurance style. Which I've never really sort of done before. I've never done big endurance races, but I know that we have partaken in endurance previously, and this will be very interesting indeed. Road Atlanta, Suzuka, Monza, and Nordschleife. That Nordschleife race I am really looking forward to. That's going to be incredible. But that is all to come. Let's focus on the race today. In particular, let's go and look at the last round where we got Michelandes. A really strong win for him. 38 points he picked up with that win. So he'll be very happy with it indeed. Albertini, he got P2, picked up 27 points. Just 1.2 seconds behind. So that was a very close battle right to the very end of that race. It did back off a little bit then. Virtuoso is 7 seconds behind, but he still picks up 23 points from it. Pajo and Chocnay as well. Very close. Half a second between those two. Utterly mental. And then it was Massa, and I think it's from that point onwards, it sort of fizzled out a little bit, but with all bar one picking up points, I think most people will be pretty happy with the points that they picked up. Sauder there with the fastest lap as well in P8. So, shall we take a little look at where we're racing today? Or at least that is the plan anyway. Should have probably mentioned as well that that previous round took place in Sao Paulo, Brazil. It's a shame. Unfortunately, I was unable to make it. But by the looks of it, it did look like a very good race. Let's look at today's track. We are here in Barcelona, Spain for the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. It's 4.7 kilometers long, 3 sectors and 14 turns, 36 laps. And we've got to have at least 25%, which is 9 laps on the hard tyre. No rain forecast whatsoever. So even though the inters and the full wets are available, I highly doubt anybody will be using them. Manual rolling start as per usual. And for the 6th time this season, we get to see them take place into this brilliant little car. This Lexus has proven to be an absolute menace throughout the entirety of the season. Obviously, there's been a bit of a struggle, especially to begin with the grip levels of this car. But by now, pretty much every driver has got a really good understanding of how this car functions, and they're really beginning to get the most out of it. You can see the races have been getting closer and they've been getting tighter, and they've been, you know, battles have been more hard fought, and they've actually had to really put some effort in to, get a single place. And that is just because they've been getting so much more comfortable with this car. And this is the pinnacle of it. This is the final moments the absolute height of their ability in this car for one last race. Let's look at the driver's standings, where Marco sits on 103 points and Pahor sits on 79. They are the only two that are left in the title fight today. And as you can probably tell, there's quite a bit of a gap between them. In fact, Albertini has to finish P10 and Pahor has to win for him to win the championship. Marco, so long as he finishes P9 or above, wins it. That's like a tall order for Power, and I think it's going to just have to be a very, very bad race for Marco if he doesn't pick up the championship today. He's proven that he's been a very, very competitive racer, and in the final race, he doesn't have to do an awful lot to win the championship. But the team standings, they're a little bit closer. ZIRA and ROH are level on points. 140 split both of them. Max Racing 125 as well, so they've got a really tall order if they want to try and win the championship. But nevertheless, ZIRA and ROH, whoever finishes above today wins it outright. I think that's a pretty confident measure, isn't it? I mean, both teams, we can see up at the top there, all four of the drivers on both of those teams are in the top five. The only person that isn't is Marco, and he's been pretty much carrying Max Racing this entire time. So it's so unbelievably close between sort of those top two teams, and really how that team standing finishes is going to reflect massively on the team standings as well. Well, we've only got a moment to go before qualifying takes place. So I'm going to say, just before we get racing today, thank you so much for having me this season. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I do look forward to continuing in September, ready for season 3. It's been really good racing, and I hope that it finishes in the exact same way that it has done this entire time. Close racing and general all-round chaos. So, without further ado, qualifying should be starting in just a moment's time. So, we'll be with you in just a second. And here we are, ready for qualifying one last time this season. It's going to be Pahor that leads. No, it's not Pahor that leads us out. He's going to be the second man out of the pit lane. I believe it's Marco actually leading us out the pit lane of all people. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh no, there's somebody further in front. I couldn't quite see him. He's just not quite in my peripheral vision. But no, quite a few people, pretty much everybody getting out of track. Michelandes, I think, being the only person not to go out immediately, and he's leaving the pits now. So it's pretty safe to say that everybody is now out on track. So everybody's decided to go in and get the laps early on, and I kind of don't blame them, to be honest. I mean, we've seen how this circuit can be. It's a tough one on you. It's one that can definitely cause mistakes, but at the same time, it's a really rewarding track if you get it right. Obviously, it's got a mixture of long, medium, and short corners, pretty long straights, a much shorter straight as well to judge how good your acceleration out of a corner is. It's pretty much got everything you need to be able to figure out your ability as a driver, which is why it's such a good testing circuit. It's also what makes it such a good racing circuit, because you see the different attributes of drivers as they go through the circuit. So there might be some drivers who are really, really late on the brakes, so they're really good into the slower corners, and they know how to get as much speed into the corner as they physically can. Whereas there's going to be other people that are really good at carrying momentum, so they're going to be much better in the longer corners, and they might be able to just stay full throttle for a little bit longer before having to lift. so they're going to be really strong at that. There's going to be some people which love a late apex, so they're going to be really quick down the straights. There's going to be other people that like a really early apex, so they're going to be really quick through some of the longer corners. We've got loads of different attributes across this track. We've got sections where you've got to have quite good traction out of the corner. It's just out of the back straight, you take that hairpin left and you go just up the hill and kick to the left, because that just causes so many problems for a lot of people. People just tend to get it wrong quite a lot of the time and spin out and hit the wall. So when you absolutely nail it, it just feels so rewarding. This corner as well, it's a very similar style, and it definitely does show sort of how somebody's ability to get on a throttle is a make or break really for this circuit. So obviously all the drivers are they're going to be on their top form. Let's not lie. It's been 6 weeks of unrelenting racing. They have been putting in the hours. They've been putting in the practice. Obviously, there's going to be some people that don't like this circuit as much as others, but obviously that's absolutely fine. But then again, it's a circuit that you want to be strong at. It's your final race of the season. You need to make sure that you are on the ball for this one, especially since you've had 5 weeks in the knowledge that it's been cancelled. So there's plenty of time to practice it, knowing that it will be the new last race of the season. There we go. Sauda Audi puts in the first time this season. This qualifying. That's the word. It was about a 1:39.9, I believe, but it's just been bumped down by Paco. 1:39.772 so far, the fastest time. Marco as well, coming around the final corner. This is going to be an important one for him as well, because he'll want to make sure that he gets a very good start out of qualifying. He's going to come across the line and he's going to put in a rather questionable time. I'm guessing he must have made a mistake there, and he's actually going for his flying lap now, or at least I'd like to believe that's the case. If he's 21 seconds off of the pace, I'm worried for his hopes of the championship. Though, to be honest, we only have 9 cars. Doesn't that... Oh, I don't know what the rules are on DNFing and points. Do you receive points if you DNF? I'll have to ask ZIRA about that, because I'm not too sure. Because if all he needs to do is trot around at the back to win the championship, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? But I guess people have won the championship in a round before it finishes, and they still work hard in the race. They don't just come trotting around. So I imagine he will still be putting in the work, because obviously he'll want to have a good race. He just knows that if it doesn't go brilliantly, he's still won the championship either way. So long as he keeps the car on the track, there's no reason for him to DNF either. He just goes into the bits and gets his stuff fixed. Like, it's a bit of a fun race here for Marco. There's only 9 drivers. Chocnay's gone fastest at 1:39.3 as it's just looking on board with Marco. They're struggling out of that corner, putting a little bit too much power down a little bit too early, and that caused the back end to just spit out a little bit preemptively. But he managed to keep it controlled, as a couple more people are crossing the line for their second fastest lappers of 1:41 from Pence. Just across the line there, Tassi at 1:41.6 as well. And there we go, Marco goes P2. 3/10 down on our fastest time, so that must be a really good time from Chocnay. For Marco to just be 3/10, getting closer. Michelandez comes across the line. He's a 10th off of Chocnay, but Chocnay looking really confident around this circuit. That's a very good lap time. Either that, or we just had the lap of the century, the unreplicatable, and he's just absolutely nailed it. I have absolutely no idea, or whether he's just very comfortable around Spain. It could be either. Either way, that's certainly interesting, isn't it? Just how much of a gap there is between quite a lot of drivers at the moment. Take Sauda Audi, a guy that's been very competitive all season, currently down in potentially 6/10 off of the leader. That's a large amount, albeit through this second sector, he's 2/10 up. So he has got time to bring it back, as he's just going to overtake his teammate there. I think he's just sort of balling around coming into the pit lane at the end of this lap. He must be on an in lap, or at least just a slow lap. And here we go. He's about to come across the line and improve his time significantly, 0.238 seconds quicker. And that's gonna put him P5 and just 4/10 off of the lead now. So a little bit taken off and a place gained, but nothing more than that. So currently it's Chocnay, Michelanders, Marco, Sanaradi, Pafor, Kaludis, Kurowski, Benjamin, 10th, and I think it's Tassi, 29. Yeah, Tassi is the man that I haven't mentioned. So here we go. Papo about to come across the line as well. He's just rounded the final corner. Let's see how he gets on. He just started a time, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, 1:53.9 was his last time. That's not a time you particularly want to remember. I'm guessing that's a pit. Yes, I think he's coming to the pits and he's come out and he started a lap. Oh no, look at this. Detective Carter on the loose, coming up with these brave and wild theories. No, all is going pretty well in this lap so far. It's a pretty clean. It's a fairly good lap. It looks overall just solid, I'm going to say. I'm not going to say it's particularly spectacular, but he's making the most of the car. Definitely getting it in nicely, getting the acceleration out. And we always know what we say, the slower the lap looks, the faster it actually was. A lap that doesn't look particularly exhilarating often tends to be the one which puts your name further up the field. Look at that, yeah, 1.5 tenths faster. So that's going to possibly, yeah, no, definitely push him above Saudaradi. Saudaradi's what, only 0.031 seconds faster. That's unbelievably close between the two of them. So yes, he'll be expecting to improve in this instance. Sadaradi as well, also in the pit lane at the moment, just, I think, getting a new set of tyres. Unsurprisingly, this is kind of the point. So there we go, across the line, Mr. Pahor goes, and he stays there and must have invalidated or picked up a penalty of some sort because he's gone on a red time. So that's not very good for him at all. Marco as well, just starting a lap in now, 29 seconds into it as we speak, and just coming up the hill. A few more drivers following him, actually. It's a long run of drivers. Not many people are exactly, out of this line of people. It's a rather interesting concept where, everybody's bunched together out on track. I'm guessing they're getting a little bit of slipstream off of each other, but they might pick up a little bit of dirty air, especially in the longer corners, such as turn 3 in particular, I'm going to say, and the final corner perhaps as well. That's an issue. And the corner on to back straight, I can imagine, is a bit difficult for them. That must be, yeah, rather difficult when in such close proximity. But looking at that, Michelanda is just shaking about on track. So he's obviously not going for a fast time at all. No, he's not over a second slower. So he's just making sure that he's up and ready to go, ready for this next lap. Obviously, he's had some form of mistake, maybe. I'm guessing that's to be the case because so far his best time was his last time, unless he's coming into the pits. And he is. There we go. Exactly as I suspected. Into the pit lane he comes. I was about to say, he'd done 5 laps on one set of soft tyres, so it was about time that he came into the pit lane, even though his fastest time was his final. This will be that'll be his pit stop. He won't go into the pits again after that, I can't imagine. He'll be pretty comfortable on those soft tyres till the end of qualifying. There's still a couple of people coming across the line, but Chocnay still remains strongly on top with that 139.361. My apologies. And Michelandes keeping himself close, but not quite in front. He's still got a little bit of work to do if he wants to get himself up into pole position. He's going to have to put in one hell of a lap as well if he wants to manage it. Yeah, Chocnay has put in one stellar lap there, I've got to say. Fair play to him because that is very impressive. I certainly couldn't do a lap like that, that's for certain. Well, here's Fedorowski currently coming down the back straight, coming on with quite some pace as well, hitting a top speed of 227 kilometers an hour before he hits the brakes. He is a tenth, nearly two up on his time, so not looking for an improved lap, I doubt. I think this might just be a bit of a settling in lap again as he obviously came into the pits last time round, so a bit of a settling lap on the new soft, just refining that pushing, where to push, where to brake. About a quarter of a second slower that time round, but he'll be looking to improve once again. I've got to say that is awfully close now, isn't it, between Mikel Andez and Chotney? Eight hundredths, I believe, of a second between the two of them. Capo only 2 seconds off of the back of Chotney. After he's taken the place of Marco, who's still that 3/10 slower. What's that? Tassi, nearly 2 seconds slower, really struggling. And I believe that Pence is indeed 2/10 slower, just over 2 seconds slower than our lead driver. So I can imagine the blue flags are going to come out today. That's my guess. I'm going to be honest and say yes. Likelihood is the blue flags shall make an appearance. Overall, very, very decent indeed for these drivers. Good. More importantly, take a look at those times on the right-hand side. You can see, aren't they? 39, 39, 39, 39, and then he's had his two pit laps. Obviously, that first lap was a 36. Don't count because it was the got to be from the start finish straight, so it's a much shorter lap if you only come out of the pit lane. So hence the 3 seconds faster, even if you go to turn one a little bit slower. So only just up on his time, 2,000 seconds slower through the first 2 sections. He's got to gain basically a tenth of a second to be able to make this. I think it's a 0.94 seconds. He's got a 0.094 seconds past where he needs to be to match Stockman's time. So let's call it a tenth. And he's about to come across the line. It was very wiggly through that third section, so I doubt he's done it. No, in fact, he's lost 2 tenths of a second. I know three, really, basically 3 tenths of a second through that final sector. Really struggled through that sector alone, but Marco as well struggling down in P5. Everybody onto their final laps now. We've hit that 15-minute mark. That's how everybody will be getting themselves ready just to push onto that final lap. Everybody, this is their last opportunities to make something work. Let's see how they will do. Marco looks pretty strong through that first sector, but we'll have to wait until we get a sign of how he's doing. We get that at the end of this straight, see how he's getting along. He's currently, what, 3/10 of a second off. He's currently up on his time. So a lot of people really struggling to beat times that they found earlier on in the into the qualifying session. Though to be fair, Marco did set his fastest lap last lap, so it's not exactly the end of the world. But they want to push it, nevertheless. They want to make the absolute most of this lap. But he does run a little bit wide out of that corner. Might pick up a penalty. I'm not too sure. I think he's managed to get away with it. But let's see how that lap comes out. At the end, it's a 1:39.7. It's not faster than his best time so far. And there we go. I'm pretty certain now a lot of people finishing their laps. Oh, this is going to be an important one. Mikel Andez comes across the line. Can he put it to pole position? No, he can't. It's faster, but it's not fast enough. And that completes qualifying. Oh, God, that was close, wasn't it? Well, Chotney finishes on pole position with a 1:39.361. Mikel Andez, half a tenth of a second behind after gaining, I think it was about 300ths on that final lap. Power in P3 there. Then it's a big drop, isn't it? 2/10 of a second. Um, and Sauda Addy an exact 10th behind him in P4. Marco in P5 and Kaludis in P6. Podorowski in P7 and Pence in P8. And we'll turn to our final driver, Mr. Tassi in P9. So with that, join us back in just a moment whilst we get ready for the race. Well, that was certainly a quick turnaround, wasn't it? Welcome back to the race. Now, obviously, you might be thinking, hang on a minute, the formation lap. Yes, it is. Single file. Race directions as per usual. For one last time this season, the drivers take off from the 5 red lights and indeed put themselves into their formation lap. Into single file, then they will run around the circuit before going double file. I imagine on that small little straight before the final straight, maybe even the very small straight just before that. They'll double file up, and as per usual, the green flag will be waved and they will go away. Hence the additional lap. This is obviously their formation lap. Unfortunately, Gran Turismo needs to improve the amount of options they have for race starts and things like. Honestly, I think if Gran Turismo added driver changes, oh my god, what a game this would be! Right? You imagine that you could do proper endurance races that do actually go on for all 6 hours, and get proper driver changes and everything. But I get that it's quite difficult to do. It would be quite fun, wouldn't it? Would be. So Chutney will be leading us off today, and he has done a pretty good job so far this season. He has led us off before, obviously with the green flag implemented. He doesn't get to choose as and when he leaves. That is up to race control. We say this is a bit of a sighted lap. This is a bit of a lap that, just cars to warm their tyres, get themselves comfortable with the other cars around them, perhaps assess, see what's sort of going on around them, see how the drivers are reacting to each corner, what are they doing into each corner, are they braking hard, are they doing this, that, and the other? I know obviously we're going quite slowly, but it's important knowledge to know. See how defensive they are, if you try and sneak it a little bit. That's always good to know. We will be beginning very soon. Double file takes place as every car slots themselves in very nicely. We get ready to go green here for one last time in Barcelona. And it's green. We are away, and it's a very good start for Marco as he immediately looks to try and go down the inside of the cars, just in front of Michelandes as well. He's lining it very nicely, but it's 3 wide just behind the two of them. Can Michelandes go down the inside and try and get this position? No, he can't. He's having to go all the way around the outside. It's not quite going to work out for him. Marco nearly gains up into P3, but gets pushed down to back down to P4. Pahor in P5 at the moment, just trying to hold on to whatever he can. There's absolute chaos surrounding him. Around the outside goes Salorani into P4. Very good start for him indeed. Cahill now just trying to hold on to sort of whatever he can pick up. And Marco has launched it up the inside and already P2 for Mr. Marco Albertini. He'll be very happy with that almost immediately good result out of the pack. Salradi only in P3 at the moment, but he'll be looking to try and push on to Marco as quickly as he physically can, but has got Michelandes in the way as well. He'll be trying to get through as quickly as possible. He's lost quite a lot of places since the very start. Started P2, currently P4, so he's got a long way to go. But Marco, what a start from Marco. P5 to P2 in a matter of corners. It certainly is impressive, isn't it? He's done a very, very good job to get himself all the way up there, but interestingly, Chotney already pushing away. He's a second off from Marco, just using that space he's had at the front, using that lack of fighting he's had to do, just to create a little bit of a gap in which he can massively capitalise from, since he doesn't have to fight anybody for his position. He's comfortable where he is. And I don't blame him in the slightest. There we go, there's Tassi, a couple of seconds off the pace, maybe had a little bit of an issue, I'm not too sure. But he'll be looking to be coming back and hopefully joining up with the rest of the pack as and when it's physically possible for him. And well, Sadaradi at the moment, currently, he's keeping very close to Marco, isn't he? He certainly is putting the pressure on, keeping that fight close, which is always nice to see. In fact, going purple through sector 1 there. So, Saudaradi, definitely a big, big threat for Marco. Kind of looked like he could have gone down the inside there. But thank the Lord he decided to opt out of it. Otherwise, that would have been an absolutely monumental incident, I can only imagine. These two are just sticking to each other like glue, aren't they? Well, ZIRA looking in a really strong position at the moment. They've got Chutney and Saudaradi in P1 and P3, split by Max Racing team drivers. So, as it stands, ZIRA looking very, very strong in the way of the championship. There you go. The replay just at the bottom right. That's of us getting ready to go. We'll continue just looking at what's going on our screen. Sadaradi staying super, super close, isn't he? Within half a second of Mr. Albertini. Can he do anything to get past? As it stands, no, not really. There's not much he can do. All he can do really is just wait for Marco to make a mistake of some sort, but as we all know, that's quite hard to come by. He's doing a good job at keeping on the back of Marco, though. In fact, a purple sector 1 is very, very helpful. Has certainly gained a fair bit of time through that sector 1 on that sector 1 alone. So I think for the most part, we've got a happy Saudaradi. Just knows that he can definitely make a bit more of this race if he certainly very well tries. Slightly further down the grid though, we've got Kaludis. He's currently 6th. We just had him on view for just a moment's time there, but there wasn't an awful lot to spot. Budorowski at the moment just trailing on the back of Ludus, but second off means he's not in a very good position to try and go for really any kind of overtaking line. He's really got to close that gap down before he can do very much at all. Front three though, still very close altogether. All three drivers split only by 2 seconds. Whereas Michelandres, 7 seconds back from the leader already, 5 seconds from Saudaradi. Very, very big gap, almost immediately, isn't it? just trailing down the drivers. That gap is beginning to increase as well between Tassi and Shockney, 17 seconds after 4 laps of racing. Something I haven't noticed or haven't talked about very much at all so far is our tyre choices. Saudoradi, he's on the racing softs, so obviously he's got very good pace at the moment, and I imagine Chocney and Marco have also opted for that similar tyre. I'm guessing just to get a good start off the line, because even if it is, a good start off the line, then you can progress, get a couple of positions up maybe on the guys that started on slower tyres, create some gaps and try and get yourself in front, I'd say is probably sort of the baseline idea. But Kaluda's doing a good job at the moment. He's kind of got Pahor just in front of him. There's about a tenth of a second. And just at the front, Saudoradi is now half a second from the back of Marco. So that has closed down since we last checked it, but it's not an awful lot. It's about 8 tenths to half a second. So 3 tenths of a second between those two times isn't exactly a lot, especially for the amount of time we've been racing since we last looked at it. But it was a purple lap last time round for Saudoradi, consistently doing the fastest laps of this race and goes faster still in this sector one. So clearly looking strong throughout the sector. Importantly, the lap. And look at how he closes down through some of those scrubber corners. Unfortunately, he does then begin to break back open again, but it's a very, very quick close down of the driver into the corner. So I'm going to guess a dive bomb. I think if anything's going to happen, there'll be a dive bomb. Almost guarantee you of it. Saudi currently 1.3 off the back of Chongmei has closed that gap down quite a lot. So what's that? About half a second quicker, um, or half a second importantly closer to Chongmei than he was last time I paid any attention to that graphic. So I'm going to say it was about 2 laps to go. So Saudi actually keeping himself up with the front pack nicely. I mean, when you're on the back of a pack, it can be difficult to keep up because everybody else can be, very close. And the moment you make a small mistake and sort of just open up the fight, it it doesn't go quite as promised for you. It might go quite poorly, and then you've got quite a lot of lost time. Obviously, people can escape you at a moment's notice. The moment they get an opportunity to try and escape you, rest assured they will be. If they can escape, then they can just about do whatever they want, and you certainly aren't having anything to do with their points. They can come into the pit lane quite happily, and just go on and go out there. But yeah, so far, all of these drivers have got themselves settled into the race. Nothing too overly frantic, it's just the starting. Nobody getting lashed out. I don't think I've seen a single person lash out all season. In a race, I know some people really enjoy a good lash out in this big race. No, I mean, in an actual race, you don't have any sort of bad seconds in it. You have got anything to go right. You don't have just a little. It's always absolutely lovely. So we are on lap 8 of 37 here, so we've still got quite some time to go. I believe 4, 8, 18. Lots, just lots of laps remaining.
29:30 laps to go. So a small portion of the way through this race so far. As it stands, Trotno is doing a pretty good job at keeping his lead managed, even if it is rather close, to be fair. 2 tenths of a second between Sid Charles at oh my god, Clocky. Trotno, that's it. Oh my god. My brain just went into like fuzzle mode then. We're going to hop on board with Kudarowski. He's currently P7. He's about 20 seconds off the pace. So he's about 5 seconds off of the next fastest car. But P7 is a certainly respectable time. I think just playing through this game, you just got to really sort of, figure it out. Because look at how close Marco is now getting to the back of Shotno. That is incredibly close between the two. In fact, I think he's gone for it. Has he made it stick? He's made it stick. Oh no, not quite. Chutney keeping it in place for now, but Marco, outrageous amounts of pressure. I'm guessing gave him very late on. But there we go. Marco showing no signs of quitting. He is in this to win this race. He isn't here just to lie about and do square root of not a lot. He is here to get his ass day and win this race. Just look at how close those two cars are. Totally, totally unbelievable. Live? Is that live? I think it is, you know. I thought it was a replay for a second there. No, it's not. Oh, now I'm confused. So was it a replay? I thought it was a replay. He's still so close between Chokmate and Marco. Less than a second between them. In fact, it is so very close. It's only a fifth of a second that separates between them. So the two of them still doing a pretty good job at keeping close together. I mean, Marco is putting the pressure on so heavily, isn't he? A matter of really, when's he going to try and go for this move rather than if he does. He needs to try and find the right opportunity. He doesn't want to lash out and go sort of for a wild one. He wants to make sure that he makes the most of it. He gets the optimal move, the one that he knows he's secured the position in. If you just go for any old move, usually that is, it backfires immensely and it just goes horribly, horribly wrong. You lose a load of time and somebody else takes your position instead of you. But I think Marco knows that. And I think now he's spotted it. Yes, he has. He's going for it. Can he get it done? He's gone very deep, and Chotney is going to be able to get that position back on the switchback, unsurprisingly. Yeah, just a bit too deep from Marco there, and it's just brought him back to bite. If anything, though, that does show a bit of promise. It shows that Marco is interested in getting past, and he is willing to put his money where his mouth is and actually go for the move. Even if he did break a little bit too late there, and he was unable to, keep the move stuck, it certainly showed that he's in it to win it. I think we just needed that bit of reassurance because he was certainly looking a little bit down and out, a little bit not up for it. So we've got Pahor and Kaludis coming into the pits at the moment. So they were on the hard tyres. Unsurprisingly, we've done 9 laps. So they are coming in and getting them off immediately. Yes, there's a reason why we have to put this minimum rule in on the tyres. It's because people are so desperate to get off of them. They are more than happy to do the minimum amount and that. No more. No more. Not a lap more on the minimum on that tyre. I just want it, over and done with as quickly as they physically can. And so that is exactly what they do. Hang on a minute. I've just noticed a change at the top. I've just noticed Marco has shot up to the very top. What has happened up at the top? I'm not too sure, but we'll have to look at it in just a moment's time. Currently watching Power on his outlap. We need to cut and see what has happened to Marco and Shockney, because Marco is currently now leading the race and Shockney is currently P2. Indeed, it is the case. Marco has managed to get himself past, and also Saudaradi is looking very interested in getting past Shockney. In fact, is he going to go for a move here at turn 1? No, it's far too far back. That'd be stupid to go for that move, so luckily he elects against it. I thought that was going to be a very catastrophic mistake there, but luckily it wasn't. Saudaradi thought twice and he thought, actually, yeah, no, that's not a smart idea. I'm going to wait a minute. And he did. And the thing he's going to go for it. He's going to go for it. He's going to try and put the wheel in. He has put the wheel in. Can he get on the exit? He's got very worn out front left tyres, but I think he's not quite managed it. Chocnay's going to launch it down the inside. Is there a switchback possible for Saudaradi? No, Chocnay has absolutely timed that to perfection to block off any possible chance of Saudaradi getting himself through. He looked to go a little bit offensive into the next corner, but unsurprisingly realised that that was a horrible, horrible idea and chose not to do it. Thank the Lord. But I think he's going for it now, isn't he? Saudaradi's going to go to the outside. Chocnay's going to have the inside, so he's got the good position to defend. He just doesn't want to leave it too late. It's going to be a much later apex for Saudaradi as well, so he probably going to come out of the corner, guns blazing, but he's not quite going to be able to make the most of it and will sit behind Chocnay for a little while longer. And this just allows Marco to continuously get further and further away from him. 2.5 seconds now, the gap between Marco and Saudaradi, as both of them do indeed dive into the pit lane. Interestingly enough, though, Marco elects to stay out. Also, oh no, that's not quite the replay. Marco's already in front by then. That's annoying. Mr. Michelandes there just taking P2 since Chocnay and Saudaradi are getting onto fresh tyres. Michelandes as well on the hard set of tyres, interestingly enough. Don't know how long he's been on the... Oh no, he literally just pitted. So he is fresh out of the pits. See, that's interesting, right? He's fresh out of the pits. At least I think he's fresh out of the pits. I'm guessing the lack of lap 13 or so. Oh no, that's a lack of lap 11. Don't quite know what's going on there. Oh, I've hit a big stop. Oh, right, I'm back. I'm back. Here's the replay of the two ZIRA cars having a scrap. Sorry, I disappeared for a moment there. I just my internet cut out for just a moment. Oh, there we go. There was that replays. Chocnay and Saudaradi do indeed swap places. Finally. And here is Hudorowski now right on the back of Chocnay of all people. So that battle is beginning to heat up as well. So Chocnay struggling in this sort of first sort of section of this race where it's all just gone from bad to worse for him. He looks like in a pretty solid position. Like, he looks fairly comfortable. It's just gone a little bit wrong, and that is just spiraled a bit, unfortunately for him. He's going to have to do a bit of work to try and pull it back, but currently P4 after starting the race on pole position. So yes, a bit of work for Chokne to do, but Hodorowski is at the moment looking to try and improve his position as it stands. With the timing sheet very bugged out. That's not lap 14, that's lap 12 in between 11 and 13, last time I checked. No, Michelandes right now very much by himself. He's got 20 seconds to Miss Marco in front and 9 seconds to Saudade behind. So he's in a really lonely place. Literally nobody around him. So it's a difficult one when nobody's around you. Because obviously, then you just compare your times. Like you just watch the time. Um, I guess that's good because it like incentivizes you to go faster. But yeah, when you are out by yourself, you do tend to just relax a little bit more. You're not quite as effective. You're not quite as on the money um, as if you are when you're around other people. Marco finally into the pits. It's only taken God knows how many laps. 14 laps he was out on those soft tyres for. And he's finally come in and decided to swap them. And look at that front left. It is blaring red. It desperately needed changing. Is he going onto the hards? I'm not too certain. We'll see just when he leaves the pit lane. Sadaradi's going to get himself past. Is Chogne going to get himself past? By the looks of it, no, he's not. Chogne really struggled out of that sort of on these new tyres, isn't he? Absolutely miles behind. Well, look at how far back Marco is. Marco's 3 seconds back to Saudade. Interesting enough, I think this puts Saudade in net P1, you know. He's really had a very good out after this. I don't think Shotney's had a particularly poor one. I think just Saudarade's had a very, very good one. Looking really, really competitive. He's just got to set his fastest time. And Marco, he's basically the same distance apart to both cars, isn't he? About 3.7, 3.8 in front or behind. Mental. That's very close to each other's time, which does kind of mean that, yeah, once again, a bit like Michelandres, very lonely. Like not a lot of people around him whatsoever. Not really anybody to push you, but you've got to stay on the money. Pahor there, fastest sector 2 times, gone purple. He's still got a little way to go. He's got to be what point, basically 0.25. No, he's got to be 22, half a second quicker here. See how he gets along around the final corner. His time is going to be a 1:29, 1:40 dead. So that is going to not give him fastest lap, but certainly an improvement, never the very less. Oh, Marco's got a half a second penalty. Where's that come from? I'm not too sure. Possibly corner cutting. I'm gonna guess that's the case, considering the fact that there's nobody really around for him to have a bump with. So yeah, corner cutting. That's my suggestion. My approach to the matter. So what's he got? He's got 4.3 to Saudade in front. He's gonna be further away in just a moment's time. Right, watch this. Right, half a second penalty. Let's see what the gap between him and Saudade becomes, and him and Chokne. Chokne's driving very slowly at the moment. So watch Saudade. So what's it? It's a 4.4 at the moment. By the end of this straight, so that's half a second. There's about 7/10 penalty on a half a second penalty. It's just a bit harsh. The longer the straight, the harsher it is as well. Like, do it down the Mulsanne straight, half a second penalty. It's about 4 seconds you lose. It's brutal. Well, Michael Andres is no longer going to be lonely, is he? Because Saudoradi is now just 1.6 seconds behind and catching at a rate of knots. So, in fact, he has still currently got the fastest time today, a 1:39.7, and his last lap was a 1:39.8. He's looking rather quick. And so, unsurprisingly, he's currently absolutely demolishing Michael Andres. Especially well, on the data sheet at the moment. He hasn't caught up quite enough to be able to go for the move just yet, but I can't imagine it's too far away. We're down to 8 tenths, 9 tenths of a second. It was what 1.3 at the start of the lap. So it's certainly creeping up on us to say the least. Look at this. Look at just how much he keeps closing down. Oh, right on the back now. So I'm guessing down the main straight is going to be when he goes for the move. He'd want to get past about nowish, but I think he's going to wait until the straight. Yep, unsurprisingly, because it would have been a pretty stupid move to be honest to go for it anywhere else. And I think Michael Andres is going to kind of let him pass. No, he's not. He's just going ultra defensive immediately. I think he might even keep the place here. No, he's gone back onto the offensive position. And that indeed leads to his demise. Saudoradi goes into the lead of the race. And here we go, a replay of that move currently just in your bottom right-hand corner. You can see all the build-up as it currently is taking place, as Saudoradi is just extending that lead so very quickly, already up to a second. So I think that fight is considered well and truly over. Pahor currently in P5 at the moment. It's split pretty evenly between both cars. It's 2.1 in front and 3.7 behind. So he's very chilled at the moment. He's not looking to be in an awful lot of a dangerous position. He's not looking to get a move done right this very second. But Saudoradi doing very, very well for his team, who currently sit at P1 and P4, and ROH sit P2 and P5, which currently gives ZIRA the championship win. But we are on lap 18 of 37, 17 race laps completed of the 36. So we are just sneaking up on the halfway mark. As indeed we move on to lap 19. It's pretty quiet out on track at the moment. It's very chilled out indeed. And look at this, Pahor now right on the back of Chotney, and this could definitely change up the rest of this race. And if it does take place, yes, it is. Power is going to be able to get himself through after a rather relenting battle, just slowly creeping up on Chotney. He's managed to get himself past in a rather unconventional place as well. That's not a place you tend to see many moves happen, but he's managed to get it done and with style indeed. So Pahor up to P3. His teammate, though, Michel Andres, drops down to P6 after obviously coming into the pits. And now the battles dial down once again. But as it stands, pretty good race for quite a lot of people here. I think I'm gonna have to bring up the point system just to make sure I am 100% confident on it. If there's one thing I'm not very good at, it is point systems. So Marco there just coming down the back straight. So fairly decent run as it stands for him. He's doing a decent job, to be fair, actually. So obviously 25 points for the winner, 18 for P2, 15 for P3, 12 for P4, 10 for P5, 8 for P6, 6 for 7, 4 for 8, and so on and so forth. So the standard F1 championship points order. So just sorry, I'm just doing a fun bit of mathematics right now. So Saudaradi picks up 25 points out of this. He goes on to 70, 82, which would push him up to P2, but Pahor in P3 would receive 12, which would push him to what, 80, 91. So Power, I think, is still comfortably P2 in the championship. Chokney being where he is, probably. I suppose. Oh no, now he's dropped down to P5. Definitely out of the position he's in, unfortunately for him. So I'm going to say, as it stands, it's Albertini, Pahor, Sauda, Chokney. That's my very quick maths, but I think my correct math. I mean, I'd love to think that I am all right at maths, considering the fact that that's what I've decided to do as further education. But honestly, my mental maths is shocking. 21 of 37 laps completed. So we are well and truly over the halfway mark now, but we've still got a fair way to go. So most people, I think they're pretty settled into the race. It's very calm at the moment. Saudaradi doing a decent job at maintaining that distance with Marco. It's been about 1.5 for a little while now, but I think Marco is definitely closing a little bit. Maybe, well, I mean, if you look at the damage on Saudaradi's racing softs, I mean, he's surely going to be losing a bit of time there. But I'm not. This is the benefit of Marco going on a little bit later. He's now got the tyre advantage because he'll definitely be having, I say, significantly better tyre wear, as it very well stands.
I do apologise for that. My microphone seemed to just die on me for a moment there. So just as I was doing a bit of basic maths, saying we are two-thirds through this race as it stands. Marco, as we've moved on to him, he's on very worn out soft tyres. So, yes, as I predicted, he is still yet to pit. That'll be coming very soon. Just a quick replay there in the bottom right hand corner. That is of, I believe, Saudaradi. I can't quite say for certain. But I think that's just as they appeared out of the pits. Might have been Chong now. I'm not 100. I think that is Michelandes there we're on board with, or maybe it's Pajor. I'm not too certain. Unfortunately, the my screen resolution size isn't quite good enough to be able to read the writing or in that rather small little box, but it's all right. So there we go. Marco does indeed come into the pit lane. He has been needing to do that for quite some time now, but this will be his final run to the very end. So gets himself up nicely. And I'm guessing will come out in front. Yes, he does. But it's not by quite as big of a margin as maybe he would have hoped for, because he's currently just 2.5 seconds in the lead of this race. Michelandes has managed to claw it back rather nicely and is currently on the hunt. Issue is, though, Michelandes has got significantly more worn tyres. I'd also like to quickly check what tyres Marco are on. I believe they were the hards as he came out, which is going to be very difficult for Marco to deal with. I don't think he's going to manage it. I mean, don't get me wrong, a great driver. He's won the championship. But is it enough? Is it enough? I I don't think so. I don't think that 2 seconds is going to be enough. Considering the fact it's already 1.5 seconds as well, I definitely don't think it is enough. I think, honestly, Marco is going to have to put in an amazing driving performance if he wants to win this final race of the season, of his championship winning season. But currently, he's doing a pretty good job, albeit the slower pace. So yeah, already sub 1 second. Michelandes on those soft tyres, even if they are slightly worn, clearly showing that they are perfectly usable. And look at that, just the speed advantage. But look at this, it's not really getting much closer, is it? Marco has managed to keep a fairly consistent 8, 9, 10s over sort of the last couple of corners. I know obviously it was dropping significantly previously, but this is the thing, as you get closer, it's certainly a lot harder to gain. Though, if you make a mistake like that, that certainly does make life a lot easier, doesn't it? Now, look, it's just half a second between these two drivers. This could be the important one. This could be the change of the lead of the race. And look at this, Marco really rather struggling on these tyres. He's not much of a fan of them, is he? And that Michelandes is looking very threatening right there, isn't he? Marco getting a little bit of an advantage down that main straight. That's going to keep him in first for a little bit longer. That's the word. How do I forget the word first? Honestly, the words I forget, the basic words of English.
honestly. So Marco still maintaining that gap to the best of his ability. And it certainly is a difficult one, isn't it? There is just an increasingly close gap between the two of them. And look at this, Marco really, really struggling. And I think Michelandes might finally get an opportunity to try and go for a pass. And oh, I think he's gone for it. But just behind, Pence is managing to get past Tassi to go up to P8. But I think Michelandes has managed to get it past. I think he has, you know. He looks pretty comfortable up into the lead of the race. Yes, yes, he did manage to make that move stick. So we are going to see a very quick replay of it. Look, he just manages to sneak it up the inside, and he does manage to get it on the exit as he sneaks it up the inside on that quick left-hander and just makes the most of it all the way around the right. Marco tried to come back in the long right, but it didn't quite work out, unfortunately. But look at this, Marco is coming back into turn one and he's managed to pull it off. So it didn't last very long whatsoever. Marco retakes the lead of the race. So we're going to get a nice little replay of that, and it's exactly what we expected. Makes the most of it, launches it down the inside, gets a really, really nice move. So Michelandes is going to have to try and make it work once again. Oh, what happened just back here? The RH car managed to get it down the inside. Does he get the move done? Yeah, he does. Really nice move, actually. As Michelandes has gotten past Marco once again, but I think Marco is going to try and come back once again. Can he make it work? Once again, he's going to go for exactly the same move. Little bit further back this time round, but I think he's managed it. Not quite Michelandes. He's going to be able to sneak it up the inside, and yes, just ever so slightly like release on the brakes. This time round for Michelandes, manages to keep that position. But look at just there's barely anywhere on those hards whatsoever. They just seem to go on forever and ever. Michelandes' soft tyres, I think, are beginning to struggle, which is going to allow Marco to launch it up the inside at turn 4 there. And he's gotten the move done. No, he hasn't. Michelandes still working to try and get his gaps to go round the outside, and it's not going to work. Marco gets himself across pretty nicely. I mean, Michelandes is still in this battle, but he's just struggling to get any kind of advancements. And there we go. In the end, we see Marco retake the lead of this race. And interesting enough, Pahor is able to start getting involved in this battle because of them two being rather slow with each other. And look at this once again, Marco having to defend this time round. Michelandes tries to take it around the outside, and this is going to allow Pahor to try and get himself through. There we go. Michelandes gets himself through after a long-winded fight, and I think Pahor might even be able to try and go for a little move here. It's not quite going to work, but Pahor possibly to the inside doesn't elect to go for it. He's going to wait for just another opportunity. Unsurprisingly.
Like I said, it would have been very, very brave. And look at this, Marco once again trying to come back on Michelandes. He's going to have to go to the outside and doesn't go three wide in the end, but Pajor might be able to sneak it around the outside. He's going to have to go the long way around on Marco if he wants to get this done. No, they stay in exactly the same places. Just for now, though, because Pajor looks to be interested in going down the inside. Yes, he does manage it. So Pajor up to P2 there. Marco's having absolutely none of it, though. He's trying to keep his wheel in it. Doesn't quite work for now, though. He's going to have to wait a moment and see if he can get anything out of it. Look at this, Saudaradi. He's almost, beginning to get in on this fight as well. And yeah, Saudaradi struggling to get himself through. He's just trying to catch up to the rest of these guys, and it's not quite working for him as of yet. It's about a second off. And Pajor looking pretty comfortable in P2 at the moment. Marco just falling away in pace a little bit, just 1.5 seconds. And yeah, just getting a nice replay of that there. An absolutely cracking fight between everybody else. But it has all quieted down once again just towards the end of the race. Saudaradi, he's closing down a little bit, but with that half a second penalty just acquired, he is going to have to probably have a fight with Kaludis. I'm going to imagine they might be swapping positions, but we thought ZIRA were looking in a very good position to win this championship. All of a sudden, it's ROH currently stacked out with a 1-2. They'll be very happy with that. Unfortunately, they don't pick up all the possible points. Saudaradi has got fastest lap as of right now, so they're going to need an absolute miracle lap or faster than on a 139.7 to try and take home every available point today and assure that ZIRA have absolutely no chance in taking this championship. But as it stands at the moment, Marco wins the Drivers' Championship and ROH win the Constructors. But we're on lap 35 of 37. We still have two and about 8/10 of racing still to laps of racing still remaining, and Lord knows what could happen in them. We could have every car explode for all we know, but last time I checked, that wasn't in the GT rules and regulations. But no, it's looking pretty calm for most of the drivers out on track. And Kaludis has also picked up a half-second penalty. That's absolutely detrimental to him because all of a sudden, this battle that he could have been having with Saudaradi, he's closed up. All he's going to do is just lose it. So it seems to be a rather quiet end to a rather thrilling race, but sometimes that's just how the penny falls. Kaludis, unfortunately, a battle that looked to be sort of our final fight of the night is probably going to be die when Kaludis serves this penalty. They'll break back up into the same distance they were just prior. And yeah, Kaludis, no, look, he's very, very competitive on the back of Saudi. It's a terrible shame that it's going to die just as quickly as it began. But Kaludis having a little bit of a wobbly exit out of there. Almost killed the fight as it was. We've got just over a lap of racing still to take place as Michelandes is coming into that final sector well and truly now. And yes, oh, look at the clouds. It's becoming very cloudy here in Barcelona to finish this race. We are on to our final lap on board with Kaludis. We're on to the final lap of the season. It has been a rather good lap, to say the very least. Let's look at that. It's grey skies all above. But it'll only be just that. We've only got about a half a lap remaining. So as we cut to Michelandes, we can talk about this end to the season. It has been a wild, wild race, to say the very least. And I think it has been a nice way to summarize this season. As Michelandes comes through the last couple of corners, he's slowed down significantly. I think he wants to come across the line with his teammate Pajor. Indeed, that does look like it's going to be the plan. Michelandes finally getting onto a little bit of power. I think they are indeed going to come across the line at the same time. So Michelandes wins in Spain, and it's only just Pajor finishes P2 with Marco in P3. Marco takes home the World Drivers' Championship, and the team of ROH come across to win the Constructors' title. That's a very nice send off from Team ROH's Chotney, the ZIRA from the ZIRA team, the team that looked to be the other most competitive team. They were joint on points as they came in here today, but it was ROH who managed to get the 1-2 and therefore take home the constructors' standings. And congratulations to Marco Albertini, who is your ZIRA Series 2 World Champion. Wow, that is lovely to say. As we've just got a few more cars to come across the line. We've got Pence and Tassie to come, and that is indeed about it. So Pence, there we go, across the line. And Tassie is coming around the second to last corner as we speak, just coming through. Nice little you maximize the track, nice little apex. It's the final corner of the final race. Tassie comes across to finish this race. So there we go. Congratulations to Michelandes, who comes across to win here today. So with that, let's take a look at the results. Michelandes wins and Pajor comes in P2 with Marco in P3 to round out the podium. Sauda in P4 and Kaludis in P5, Chokne P6, Hodorowski P7, Pence P8 and indeed Tassi in P9. And it was a pretty close finish, wasn't it? Obviously Michelandes and Pajor, they weren't that close. He slowed down, I think, for a lovely picture to finish at the end of the season. And of course, no last moment overtakes 2002 Ferrari. But yes, that was a lovely race to finish the season. Join us back in just a moment whilst we get ready for some interviews. Hello and welcome back. We have got
interviews.
alrighty. Well, we do indeed have not our race winner with us today, but we do have our world champion, Mr. Marco. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Oh man, I'm so happy
Um,
right now. Oh man,
Talk to us. How does it feel to be world champion?
it feels amazing. It feels like redemption from last season. I finally got to win the championship, but it wasn't easy. Uh, because like I think the first round of the season in Spa was the main catalyst to all of this, and I had to improve my game from Spa onwards, and it paid off. And I'm so happy that it all worked out in the end. Wow, I cannot believe it.
Well, first of all, let's talk about just this race in particular. It looked pretty strong for the vast majority of the race, but didn't quite come together to formulate a win. Sort of talk us through it.
I wasn't even expecting a win. Like I struggled with the track and in every single session I did. Qualifying P5 wasn't ideal, which is my worst qualifying result in this entire championship, and I only want to get a podium basically. I my main focus was to just get as high as possible. Then I knew that towards the end of the race, I would have had to battle with Mihalides and Payor because because they had the pace, and they were on better strategies as they had no dirty air or anyone to battle with. So I like towards the end of the race when I was first, I knew that it wouldn't have lasted for the entire race, but I just did what I did in Fuji last season. I just fought until the end, cause I know that I cannot win the race, but I might as well just try to get the win, no? Cause I fought until the end. The race isn't over until it's over, so I might as well just give my best shot at trying to win the race, even though it didn't fully work out. But uh, I had a lot of fun. Michaelides and Payot are really good guys to battle with, and I hope they enjoyed the battle too. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, well, it seemed a very exciting race from the commentary box where we were sat. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's been a really wild season for you. But how are you going to carry this momentum into next season?
I don't even know if next season I'm gonna compete. As I was planning on switching to iRacing, focusing on more of a commentary role in this championship. So this may have been my last season in Zero Evolution Championship as a driver. Um, but
Shock.
but this season has taught me a lot, really. Just to never give up, even in the worst moments. I I didn't think that I was gonna win the championship even before the season. I had actually forgot that I was in this championship until I got a ping a few days before the season was supposed to start, and so I got to practice, and I struggled. I had no pace, and eventually Barcelona is what we just did, but then it was Spa, and I uh had a lot of misfortune, and I didn't think that I was gonna have a proper championship run, but from Autopolis onwards, I didn't step down from the podium and even got a pole. So it's just I just the main lesson here is just that I that's what happens when you never give up. You just and keep believing in your dreams. You just improve day by day. And I'm really happy they played out, and massive massive thanks to everyone who competed, and congratulations to ROH Racing Line Hungary for winning the teams championship over ZIRA and the Max Racing.
Oh, well, that's always a nice way to put it. So, just to finish it all off, if you could describe the season in just 3 words, how would you summarize it?
Um, that's a bit hard. Um, close, exciting, um, thrilling. I I cannot find any better words. It was amazing from the start, and yeah, it was close. Especially for the middle part, anyone could have won the championship. Uh, until I think Suzuka.
I know today had there been 10 drivers, it was technically possible for
Yeah.
somebody else to win the championship.
No,
But yeah,
technically, if I had been disqualified from this race, I
yeah,
Payot could have still won the championship because
hmm
DSQ is like 0 points. So it just goes back to the race isn't over until it's over. So if I had been disqualified for whatever reason and Payot would have won the race, I
hmm
I would have still won the championship because Shalda got the fastest lap in the end. I think
yes.
maybe.
So
Well,
yeah, well, overall, congratulations on the podium position today, and congratulations on the championship.
yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
You're extremely welcome. Well, I'm going to hand over to Zyra now for the Hungarian section of this interview. So I will round out.
Yeah,
So I shall round myself out. Thank you all, everybody, for listening across the entire season. Even if you only joined in for 10 minutes, or if you were here for every single week, I say a massive thank you. I say a massive thank you for the people that put on this show every week, because all I do is show up and chat. I have absolutely nothing else. So so massive thank you to everybody else who puts it on. But importantly, thank you all for watching. I've been the Characteristics. See you later.